So in today's class, we're going to be talking about multiplying binomials. So what's a binomial? Well, a monomial is an expression with one term. This is x here. That's a monomial. So bicycle, two wheels. So a binomial will be an expression with two terms. I have one term right here, my 5x, and I have my second term, my 1. So 5x is my first term, 1 is my second term. So what happens when I multiply a monomial? So 5x times 1 is just 5. So multiplying binomials, it's different. So let's see how it's different. It's different because we have our 5x plus 1. Instead of multiplying it by one number, we're going to multiply it by two terms, multiplied by another 5x plus 1. And I can't simply multiply through regular distribution because there's two terms to multiply. So we're going to look at two methods on how we can multiply binomials. Now if you remember, if I have a number in front of a parentheses, I can simply distribute the number in front to both terms and multiply them by both terms. And my simplified expression would be 30x plus 6. So we are going to turn the place in our packet that says multiplying polynomials using the FOIL method and the box method. So the FOIL method, what does FOIL stand for? F is the first term in each group. O is the outer terms. I is the inner terms. L is the last terms in each group. So let's see what that means. Look at example 1. Let's start with F. The first terms in each group are going to be the two y's. So if you look right here, you'll see a y multiplying times another y. And then again, a y times the 3. So if I were to multiply those out, what I'd get was y times y equals y squared. So that's my f. Now I have my o, which is my outer terms, y times the 3. So I'd add it because it's a positive number. Y times 3 is 3y. My next is going to be I, inner terms. So it's going to be my 6 times yy. So it's going to be 6y. And then last terms in each group, I'll have my 6 times my 3, which will be positive 18. First terms in a group, y times y, y squared. Outer term, y times 3, 3y. Inner terms, 6 times y, 6y. And our last terms in each group, 6 times 3, 18. So let's see that one more time with example 2. And you can probably follow along by now and get it, but I'm drawing a line from my first term, f, to my other first term, 7n times 4n. And the way I do this is I multiply the two coefficients, 7 times 4, and then I multiply the two variables, n times n. What I end up getting is 28n squared. Now this time I'm multiplying 7n times negative 5 because the negative stays with the 5, remember? So it's going to be 7 times 5, negative 7 times 5 is 35, and then n times a placeholder, which is nothing, so n times 1, n comes along with it. Next is my inner, 3 times 4n. And running out of space, so I'm going to do that beneath 12n. And lastly, 3 times negative 5, which is going to be negative 15. So this is my new foiled multiply binomial. So after we do that, we combine like terms. So in our first example, we're going to look up, and we're going to see that I can combine the 3y and 6y. So my final answer will be y squared plus 9y plus 18. This is my answer. So that's the FOIL method. Pretty simple, right? Let's take a look at the box method. Box method, I draw a box. In this case, it's going to have 2 columns and 2 rows. And what I do is I place one of the binomials on the row. So x and 3 are in my rows. And one of the binomials on my columns. 2x and minus 5 are on my columns. And then what I do is I multiply row times column. Row times column. 2x squared, because x times 2x is hidden 1 times 2, x times x, 2x squared. 2x times 3 is going to be 6x. I multiply the coefficients, and the x just follows along. Next is negative 5 times x. This is just negative 5x. And then 3 times negative 5. Positive times a negative is a negative. So it's negative 15. So this is where we'll stop. Why don't you guys try the U-try, example 3, example 4, using the FOIL method, and then do the U-try, example 2, using the box method. And then once you're done, you go ahead and work in your groups. Turn to the next page in your packet, and you'll see it saying multiplying polynomials. The directions are up top. They call for work. Make sure you follow the directions. And by the end of today, hopefully we'll have the first page done, multiplying polynomials. Any questions myself, please raise your hand, and I'll be happy to help you after you've received the lesson.